Hello, Jeremy Chambers, Independence Acres Homestead. Oh, it's been quite an eventful week for us, and we wanted to share with you exactly what happened. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind, but hang on and we'll tell you what's been going on. Well, it is the week of August 10th. Today is August the 16th here in southeastern Michigan. And we've had a very eventful week. We spent the first half of the week down in Kentucky visiting the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum down there in Kentucky. If you guys have never had a chance to check out the Creation Museum, I highly recommend it. A lot of great exhibits. So we had a great visit down there, able to see the Ark Encounter. It's a full-size, built to scale of the Noah's Ark, and the Creation Science Museum just really does a great job of portraying a biblical creation story, along with some just, believe it or not, some good scientific evidence of creation. So anyway, we had a great time there. It was, don't have a lot of pictures. We try to spend as much of our time being in the moment as possible, so we really didn't take a lot of pictures or video. So, got a couple of them here, family in front of the Ark, but most of our time was just spent being in the moment, and obviously perusing the gift shop. Then after that, Thursday and Friday, we're just kind of spent here at the house, getting ready for Family Day event at the New Haven, which is where we do the farmers market. You guys have seen that video where we prepared for the farmers market. We've been doing that every other weekend, and this last Saturday, actually yesterday, the 15th, was their Family Day, where they had games for the kids, live music, a live auction, all these things to benefit that ministry that puts on the farmers market, Haven Place, a great family outreach ministry there in New Haven. And we spent a couple days. I roasted some fresh coffee, we made some soaps, Caleb did some drawings, all of these things to sell at our booth at the Haven Place Family Day there in New Haven. So very busy day with that yesterday, and had a great time. Really was able to we were able to meet a lot of great folks. We sold some rabbits to new homes. Just, it's wonderful. Even though we are big into meat rabbits, we're also really big into rabbits as pets because they're just awesome creatures. So who wouldn't want to have one in their house? So bone tired yesterday when we got home at about 6:30. Had a fast food dinner. Yeah, I know. Don't tell everybody. All right. And we were just done. 8:15, we were all pajamas, ready to curl up on the couch and watch some DuckTales. And all of a sudden, the sky turned colors, and next thing we know, it's raining. Of course, I don't even think about pulling out my camera, and the hail is coming down, and then the wind picks up, and it's just blowing the hail right into the windows. And Shelly and I are out on the back porch, and we got the main door open, looking out the storm window, and we're watching. Oh, look at the hail! Look at all the rain! And next thing we know, we see these trees from our neighbor's property just come crashing across the pond, and the wind picks up even harder, and it's blowing the hail right against the window. I'm pushing Shelly away. It feels like the hail's just going to come into the window, and so that's going to take me straight into this video here, where I'm going to tell you guys what it is I found. And the biggest concern we had is that our 2-week-old bunnies got absolutely drenched with this driving rain, something that we really didn't plan for, and our hutches aren't built to, our outside cage rack is not built to protect against this because this is such an unusual storm. And the storm pictures, so we got some pictures from friends in the neighborhood, well, not in our neighborhood, but when I say neighborhood, that's, you know, within 30 miles of us. You know, from the south and east and even, southwest and even the north of us. And, you know, people posting pictures on Facebook and Instagram. Oh, such a beautiful storm, you know, such a beautiful cloud formation. And here we are in the midst of this beautiful clouds formation, getting the living daylights beat out of us with hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. So let me show you what the outcome outside on Saturday night. Show you what we had to do for the bunnies in order to get them dried up. We try to always let nature take its course with the bunnies and let mom do anything, but we did a little bit of intervention. And this is how our Saturday night ended up. Oh, so I already did a quick survey of damage, and it's going to be a rough one for sure. Hail lasted for about 5 minutes. We had half-inch hail. So far, it doesn't look like vehicles were damaged. Greenhouse made it. But our little plastic shed that we replaced recently, it's flipped over. And trampoline made it, so no flying trampolines. But one of our neighbor's trees came down across our yard and the fence between our properties. And then he had another tree come down, but there's a lot of branches down. It's quite the storm. This is probably one of the worst storms we've had since we've lived here. A lot of broken branches. Things blown up different directions. It's not just in one direction, so not just straight line winds. But anyway, back to get these bunnies warm. Oh, what a terrible storm. Now we got to spend some time drying bunnies off. They got caught in the wind, blowing the rain sideways and the hail. Hi, little guy, come back. It's time to get dried off. These guys are soaked.
Here's your fluffy doll. Fluffy.
They'll get fluffy once we get them dried up.
And they can stay there.
All hands on deck when it comes to getting these bunnies dried up.
Joshua, you go help.
The mamas can handle being a little wet, but these babies, they got to get dried up, otherwise they're going to get too cold.
I'll take this one.
All right, I got to forgive the sound, but a quick survey of the damage. There's my new grill. I'll have to see if I can get that fixed. So, luckily it looks like the tent garage made it. There is the plastic shed on its side, but interestingly, the canoe didn't go anywhere. What do you know? Greenhouse looks like it survived, no problems. But this is where I'm saddest. This is my tomatillos. They might make it. Tramontino squash. It's just shredded. It's destroyed. I'm hoping it'll recover once the rain stops and the sun comes back out tomorrow. These are my little sweetie tomatoes, just wrecked. We might be able to salvage some. Peppers look like they may have made it. Zucchini, yellow squash, destroyed. A beautiful squash. The Cherokee tan and butternuts, absolutely destroyed. Tomatoes, looks like we might be able to salvage them. We'll be able to do a full tour of the garden tomorrow. So with all this rain, I'm really glad that these two trees didn't come down on my neighbor's house, because these are cottonwoods, just like these trees. Looks like I'm going to have a busy day here tomorrow. So this is Saturday night. We're going to do what we can to see what happens, and we will be evaluating all the damage, and I'll give you guys a full tour tomorrow. Sunday afternoon, we just got home from home church, just coming outside to do a little survey of the damage and some sunlight of our storm yesterday. I already went out a little bit this morning. It was still raining, so I didn't have an opportunity to do too much recording. So this is our Cherokee tan pumpkin bed that we're trying to use to maintain the genetics of the pumpkins, and it's hit pretty hard. There is a little bit of hope for this patch here on the property, as I was explaining last night. So we never have storms come out of the south. So all the bunnies got a little wet last night, but Everybody's doing well this morning. Everybody's dry and safe, so that's good. Also, once again, because of the south winds, normally these two front windows on the bunny barn are open, and the quail brooder is just right inside there, and the rain just came right in, so the quail brooder got a little wet. No issues there, just besides things being a little damp. You can hear the chainsaws in the background. Lots of trees down in the neighborhood. Everybody's doing really well in the hutch. Chickens did fine. They're all dry and safe. Honestly, guys, my biggest concern is just what happened in the garden. Hail and squash and pumpkins just does not go well together. Large leaves just catch the wind, they catch the hail and everything. So hopefully we'll be able to do some sort of garden tour in the next week or so as time goes on. And hopefully we'll have a chance to see some of these plants bounce back. This is the bottom of that 6x6 plastic shed that we had behind the garage. And it was over here in front of the cars, right there. See that yellow patch of grass right there? It was right there. And it blew over this pile of mulch and ended up on its side on top of the canoe. So we got to get this thing flipped back over. That's going to be a little bit of a chore for the boys and I. The neighbors are already over here. He's did a little survey of the damage on his property. And yeah, it's going to be a busy day here on the homestead. There's just so much to do, so much to clean up. Like I said, I'm really happy that the greenhouse is still standing. There is definitely some marks in the plastic here where the hail was hitting, but it's still standing. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's just little divots. There's little divots all over the plastic on this side, and that's the west side on the top. So let's see what we've got over here on the east side. Yeah, lots of divots where the plastic got stretched out, but I don't see any holes. So time will tell. But, you know, the plan was to put a second layer on the greenhouse anyway this winter in order to add some insulation. But just to show you guys, give you an idea about the amount of rain that came down within just a couple hours. So this is one of our garden wagons, and there's 4 inches of water in there. And that all fell within just about 30 minutes last night. Yeah, so just a lot of random branches all throughout the yard, and the trees over there that have fallen down into the pond. I'll take you over there. Gave you a little bit of a view of this in the dark and what I was able to see last night, but this will just kind of give you the full scope of what we're dealing with. This is just 3 trees along the neighbor's tree line here that fell over. My only biggest concern about all of this is that all of our well power lines and feed line to the house, our wellhead is over here, and it runs right underneath where these trees are. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to clean this up a little bit just to make sure that there's no damage to our wellhead and our well lines. So next step for me is to get our brush pile burning so that we can basically refill it. So we're going to get this burnt down. Luckily everything's nice and wet, so there's really no risk of fire. It's nice and still right now, so we're going to get that going so we can add to it and yeah, get the rest of the yard cleaned up. Well, that's probably about it for today. Rest of the day is going to be chainsaws and back and leg muscles trying to get everything cleaned up. So thanks so much for joining. It's going to be a rough one. But as always, God bless.